The last time that I had an opportunity to be in front of all of you was at Summit. That was March 2nd and 3rd. It's funny, we were up there handing out awards at Summit, and 2 weeks later we get back here and I get the phone call, we have to shut down the offices. And I gotta tell you, that was a day I will never forget. So we go through the process, we shut down the offices, and within the next 2 or 3 days, the phones start ringing off the hook. We had no clue what was coming. We had to figure out a way to sell homes from our own home. Now, I thought this was an impossibility. How do we do this? Virtual showings, homeowners opening the house to let our clients in unaccompanied. How do we possibly make this happen? All of you got out of your comfort zones and immediately figured out a way to make this happen. And I have to tell you, that was impressive. I've never seen anything like it. My phone was ringing off the hook on how we can do it. Is this okay? Is that okay? That was great. I would get the guidance from Scott and Howard and Dick and Ken Haber, and I would pass it on to our managers who would then pass it on to you guys. What came next were the numbers, which I found beyond belief. We ended up with $2.9 billion in sold and closed volume. For that, guys, I applaud you. Incredible. How do we do all this from home? How does this occur? I'll tell you how it occurs. You guys were incredible. You just were. You changed everything that you have done for years and years and years, and just believed, okay, we have to make this happen, and so we will. The line of people to thank, first our agents, you guys, my hat's off to you. I've never seen anything like it at all. And I gotta tell you, incredible. All of our departments, our IT department, Ruben's parents, cleaning our offices every single day. Okay, we like to keep it in the family, Ruben. That's for sure. Everybody, our PR department, keeping the ball rolling. I mean, this is what we do. And then, we go right down to our marketing department, who I'm going to tell you, we have the best marketing department out there. They worked tirelessly to keep the word out and to keep the advertisement going. And let me tell you, I am just so proud to be part of this group. And I want to thank you all. And I love being in front of you once again. I don't understand it, but thank you guys, because I'm going to tell you, you kept us going at a time when it was so difficult to really keep us going. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, this is amazing because we're number one in so many markets, and we've gained that accolade in the last year. But we've often worked with the Abacus and kidney beans, but now we have this new program, which is a culmination of, you'll meet Dick Lampin soon, and of course Howard from Vector Group, which has a new division that is investing in this kind of technology. So you're really going to love it. It has a CRM, it has a transaction management software, it has everything you just said, marketing. Yeah, right? You'll order everything from this. It's pretty incredible, and it's ready. And when are we starting out here?
We're going to do in 2 weeks. We're going to start the training. So, all questions and stuff. Once we get the training in another couple weeks, guys, we'll answer all your questions.
We have 400 people on it right now, I believe, throughout other regions, just testing it out to make sure it works. And then we'll be sending it out here. So it's super exciting. You won't have to make calls and chase things down and wait 3 days to get your 1099. It will always be on the screen, and you'll have, I believe, nine blocks on the screen that you can put your favorite things on, whether it's listing searches, customer matches, where's my check.
It's in the mail.
I always get a laugh with that. But back to Todd, 2.9 billion. To give you an example, New York generally does 8 billion, 6 to 8 billion. So for you guys to do 2.9 billion in 2020 is pretty outstanding when you are roughly 350 agents.
A little less.
A little less.
Yeah,
Okay.
a little less.
So New York would do half of that with 2,000 agents.
Wow.
So the numbers are staggering. So as you said, congratulations. We are just in awe of your production and your dedication. I think when we saw New York drop 65% when COVID happened, New York has always been our biggest market, our most profitable market. But we didn't realize that all of the periphery markets would be carrying everyone. The Hamptons, Los Angeles, South Florida, and Howard can talk about all that. But it's incredible that New York was sort of shut down for 90 days. And Howard, you quoted the other day, and I stole your quote. You said that New York was in a coma.
Every time I was on, whether it's CNBC or Fox, they always say, "Well, New York's dead." I had this on we applied our own marks. New York's dead, isn't it? I say, no, it's not dead. It's in a coma. The good thing about a coma is you generally come out of a coma, and it has come out of the coma.
Yeah, it really has. We're so happy. So collectively, this company is there's no better, and the connectivity between all of the regions, and we've just looked at all the numbers from element to element, say Beverly Hills to Montauk, or Manhattan to Houston. The amount of business that's going back and forth is incredible. And what we're getting ready, and then our next event, our events are now officially back. So the next event for all of you would be the Hampton Classic, which thank God Melody's here because she's managing that, and that's coming up shortly. But we will have our Aspire event in Palm Beach. We will have Art Basel in Miami. We will have our reInvent event. I always forget the other name.
Aspen.
Summit.
Summit.
In the same hotel. No, we're kidding. Summit this year, we're pretty sure we found an amazing place in New York called the Glass House, and we'll be having it there. So we are back on the boards for in-person get-togethers because that's one of the most important things about our company, is that we show up for each other. I will pass this on to Howard Lorber, but thank you all. We are so glad to be back
Thank you
here.
guys
And
for keeping in touch with us.
Thank you.
Yeah.
There's no one here really that I've seen within the last 18 months until today. So
The last time I saw you, Summit.
Yeah,
that's
it's pretty amazing. Well, Summit, we're lucky. That was sort of a ticking bomb at the time. Because Summit was like the first weekend in March, and we started hearing stuff, and we were maybe going to cancel it, maybe weren't going to cancel it. But the most amazing thing is, and by the way, I don't think anyone really was concerned about it because everyone was hugging, kissing, whatever they were doing. And it's a miracle that, to our knowledge, not one person had COVID in that whole group that was there. What do we have, 1,400 people?
Yeah,
1,400 people. 2 weeks before, 10 days before the city shut down. So it was pure luck. I wouldn't do it again. We would have canceled. Knowing what I know now, we would have said cancel. With the deaths and everything else and what the trauma it's caused. But it makes it all that much better to be back, and even more, I was going to say more better, but that's not a word.
More better.
But even more better. Okay, or better word. Better word. How about better word? That we've come back so strong. And again, thanks to all of you. And thanks, of course, couldn't be done here without Todd. And I will say there were some tough days, right after it was shut down, I started having all sorts of heartburn, this, that. I don't know what it was. I took more tests. I'm a hypochondriac to begin with. I was at the doctor every week if he would see me, And the worst part of it was, well, he said you should take this test, and this test, except you can't do it. unless it's an emergency. So that's the worst thing I wanted to hear. So I finally ended up taking everything, and he said, well, it was probably stress. I said, stress? I don't feel like I have any stress. He said, if you don't have stress, there's something wrong with you. And I think I've told a few people, I think the most stressful was I got a phone call, I guess it was right when it shut down, maybe within a week afterwards, that I got a phone call from Robert Refkin, who I'd never spoken to. I knew who he was. And he says, what's going on? I said, well, you called me. You told me what's going on. He said, well, we think the market's going to be down, our business is going to be down 60%. Okay? And if we're down 60%, we have enough money to last about 9 months.
Oh, jeez.
And I said, okay, well, we have a lot more than you do. They have to go out and raise it. So who knows if they were going to raise money when things are shut down. And so that's why I said 9 months. But then I started thinking also, when you're in a business and you're a public company, and you're going to lose a lot of money when you shut down. Well, because I didn't really think what was going to happen. It was going to happen the way it happened. You say, how much do you really want to keep investing before you have no money? And so it was a lot of turmoil in my mind. And first thing we had to do, which is always difficult for us, difficult for the people who it affects, is cutting salaries, doing layoffs, furloughs, firing people.
We saw immediately that in the residential brokerage world, there were just really useful things. Mike Douglas is a good example. I mean, this is something that we envisioned a year ago, this idea of having an agent portal based in the cloud, which means that we can constantly, plug and play new applications in, whatever is the state of the art. We can do that, has all of these tools that were not otherwise, just information, what your basic commission runs are year to date. I mean, all of these things that were not easily accessible, but are just stuff that you, of course, would just want to have all the time. What we are moving next to, and just to hear you mention Humming Home, is what is envisioned and will follow is really a second portal. Obviously, all of this will be integrated. That's more focused on the client. It's something that your clients can access. Hopefully, they would begin to look at it, after they sign a contract, whether it's, a tool for them to look for moving, whether it's a tool for them to, sign up for the utilities or cable or things like that, and whether it's for, home management afterwards. There's a lot of potential things there, and will be just a continuing way for you under your brand to be communicating with them afterwards. So there's a lot of exciting things, as Howard and Scott mentioned. We do have this group called New Valley Ventures. I think our philosophy is if we see exciting, startups up there with technologies that we can include into our platform that would be useful for you, we'd like to invest in those also. I mean, they're minority investments because we don't want to, and we want them to continue to, have the innovation that they have today. So I think that's something exciting going forward. And the final point I would make is, I think as opposed to Compass, it's really a very different approach. I mean, Compass has this mindset of, they have 800, they claim, program engineers, and are really building a legacy system. I mean, you're never going to sell it to third parties. It's inevitable. All legacy systems, I mean, no one has enough money to support those. They fall behind. They can never keep up. They can't be updated as quickly. And if they have 800 program engineers, when you look at all of the network of firms that we're dealing with, we have thousands and thousands who we are picking the best breed that is out there. So, obviously we think our strategy is the financially responsible one, but also will ultimately, have better results for all of you.
Just to add something, I remember interviewing supposedly a great technology guy who told me that what we would need to do to get us where we want to go is we'd have to hire 50 engineers. We'd have to have a budget of about $10 million a year, and we would probably come to something in 5 years. So that would be $50 million. I said, what happens then? He goes, then you have to start all over again because 5 years it all changed. So there was really no upside, to do it. And I don't think there's really any upside to Compass doing it, except it sort of sounded good from the point of view of people that don't know anything about technology like myself. It sounded good. They have 800 engineers. They're spending God knows how much, $500 million a year developing things. But by the time they come out, they're old already.
I mean, that, obviously it allowed them to raise money, although they dissipated a great deal of the money that they raised. And listen, that's not, we don't have, I mean, Compass is Compass. We have the brand, we have the growth,
Yeah.
you know. We have a lot to be focused on here. But again, thrilled for me to be so fully engaged this last year and a half. Look forward to having the opportunity to meet all of you and to work with you going forward.
All right.
I came in September, kind of right in the middle of all this, and they love working with you guys. You really do partner with them. So if you can just keep partnering with them, keeping them in the loop about all of your listings, getting them all the information, they really appreciate it. They love supporting you guys, and we're doing some really fun things. I really am appreciative of all of you who have started using the marketing request form. I know it's a pain. I get it. I'm in marketing. We've been doing this forever, but it really allows us to put all the information in one spot so they can eliminate a lot of the back and forth between the questions that they have for you guys. It allows us to serve you better. It makes it more efficient. It allows me to make and streamline the work so that we can take on these bigger projects like all the tech that these guys are talking about and really focus on the training, focus on getting everything in for you guys so that everything works and everything's seamless. And that's ultimately our job, and what we're here to do is make your lives easier. Other than that, I really am excited about the Studio Pro stuff, like Todd said, and Melody will touch on a little bit. We're going to start some trainings for you guys. We're going to start slowly rolling it out. There's nothing really new. It's just elevating what Elliman has always given you guys, and these tools are now going to be found in one place. It's going to make your lives so much easier. And again, it's going to make you be more successful in what you guys do. As I always say, if you have any questions or you need anything, please reach out to my team. We're lucky enough to be able to bring in some new people here. I have Matt Amato here, who's been filming. He is our new marketing coordinator, who is taking on the immense task of going through the marketing request forms, and he's the one making it super efficient, so he connects you to the right person on my team so that we can best serve you guys. He's also another mini Scott, so we've got a new video and photographer on staff, so it's really nice to be able to share those balances and responsibilities. And again, if you guys need anything, please reach out. Like, we're partnering very heavily with operations and Nancy and PR. We're super lucky to be able to form this collaborative partnership where we all talk to each other. If I find a story that you guys are telling me about a listing, I'll throw it over to Nancy. If Nancy has a great story, she'll make my team aware so we can better support with advertising. Again, Melody's brought Peyton on to help with any trainings and meetings, which Peyton is in the back too. She was on the marketing team and now she's your client coordinator. So yay to Peyton, because she helps with everything in training. And that's really it. If you guys need anything, we're here. And Melody's gonna talk about operations.
Yeah. So it has been phenomenal to work with Sarah. Obviously, you all know the rest of the marketing team, and they have just been going at the speed of light. It's been so exciting to work together, and we've just been able to expand. So that's the part that I want to talk about for a second. You guys all know we've been going through a lot of this up, down, and then up all together. And one of the things that's been great is we could hear and listen. I've met with a lot of you over the course of the early part of this year to hear pain points, and that's what operations is kind of doing now. So Barbara and I and Peyton are working on things like challenges with the listing system, onboarding. Peyton is key for onboarding and training, things like the new systems. This whole idea of having a VC and bringing in really interesting things, the way that our region is going to be able to be successful is that we can actually do this. We've got an operations team, we've got a marketing team, we've got people who are working together, we've got support from Todd. It's like, how can we fail? We're just gonna be tremendously successful. So we're gonna be sharing some trainings in the coming days. These are specific things about transaction management, a pain point that we have talked about for a long time. How do we sign our papers, our exclusives digitally? How do we get this stuff done more painless? And then when it comes to the marketing piece, that's going to be tremendously exciting as it comes out. And there's also that finance dashboard that we're seeing, things that matter to us in our everyday life. So we're going to try to really look, the next meeting we have, I feel like we're all going to be like, wow, look at us go. We're just amazing. So that's what I'm here for. You can always reach out to me. Peyton, her last name's Shebler. You can email her, and we're gonna do one-on-ones with you guys. We'll spend time with you, and I hope that next year we're all at the top. Well, we're already at the top of our game, but keep going like that. And this is Nancy. She's everybody knows her, but she's PR, and she's gonna speak about our collaboration too.
Hi, good morning, everybody. It's so wonderful to be here and see you all in person finally after all this time, and to get to meet some of you for the first time. I arrived like Sarah in September, right in the midst of a pandemic, and it's been obviously an interesting year, but I'm no stranger to Elliman. I have worked with the brand and the company for almost the last 10 years as an agency partner. I came from a firm called Rubenstein. Elliman was a longtime client, and in that capacity, I really worked on corporate initiatives and our expert thought leadership for our corporate leaders and our market reports. And in this role, it's been really such a treat to dig into this region and to work directly with our agents and our managers out here who are the best. I have been really so blown away by the accomplishments and the great storytelling out of this region and everything that you've accomplished in the last year. Hamptons, you guys are far and away the leading voice in real estate. We're really fortunate to work for a company where our amazing leadership really believes in the power of the press and recognizes that value and has invested in public relations as a tool and a resource for all of you. I really encourage you to tap into it. If you haven't already, reach out. And I'll share with you just some proof in the numbers here. I'll use my cheat sheet because we just got these last night. It's like hot off the presses to you. But we work with a third-party news monitoring service called Meltwater. They take a look at our numbers twice a year to see how we stack up in press mentions and reach, and what that ad equivalency is of our earned media, and measure us against our competitors. So we just got our numbers for the first half of this year, and this is really just looking at January to June. And we have 65% share of voice here in the Hamptons. And these are just our Hamptons numbers. That's almost 2,000 articles since January for a potential reach of 5.4 billion impressions. And that figure holds an ad equivalent of $50 million. So that's not nothing. And if you look at the competition, we're blowing them out of the water. Corcoran reported 389 articles versus our 2,000, 12 million in ad value versus our 50. Compass, 2.8 million in ad value versus our 50. With 45 articles for a reach of 307 million versus our 5.4 billion. So you guys are far and away leading the marketplace in the Hamptons. Thank you, and please continue to reach out. Let me know what you're working on. We say in the PR team, we're here to help you win listings, drive sales, and build brands. So we're with you on the full life cycle of a sale. When you're going after something big and you want to bring a presentation to your seller, be able to communicate how PR and your access to this team is a huge differentiator for you. I can help you build a teaser PR plan, help you communicate to your client the value of press and what our creative thinking is. When you win that listing, we'll pitch it widely, get editorial coverage, broadcast, digital, and print. And when you close that sale, it's such a joy to throw a spotlight on your accomplishments and tout those wins. We're really looking forward to an exciting second half of the year. We're going to be re-engaging with our brand partnerships and upcoming events. We're in conversations with great brands like Colgate and Rolls-Royce, and have some interesting things in the works, hopefully, for the second half of the year. And looking forward to just more great press. So please reach out anytime if you think you have a story, if you know you have a story. I'm here to brainstorm, help you strategize and plan.
We really got a superstar, and those numbers are outstanding because when you think about it, when you look at the C1s, the Corcoran and the Compasses, a lot of those mentions are because Corcoran's part of Realogy, so they're always in the mention. And Compass was going public, so probably 95% of those mentions were about them going public. Ours have nothing to do with that. Ours are pure articles on what all of you are doing and providing to Nancy and her team. So we're so lucky to have you.
Ray Smith.
Having more mention because the stock's down 3 million.
No, I just want to thank everybody for coming. This is our first meeting in 17 months, if you believe that. You know, and I've been after Todd, hey, when can we have one? When can we have one? Well, thank God we were able to have one. And as bad as the whole COVID thing has been, there's a silver lining for us that this wave washed up on our shores and we were able to deal with it. And I can't tip my hat enough to the agents that were working with both hands tied behind their back. I mean, town halls are closed, you can't get inspections, you can't do anything. And they put numbers together that I've never seen. So, you know, congrats to everybody. And thanks, Todd, for bringing the big guys here today to kick this off. So we can have, you know, now we can start back getting everybody in here, sharing info, and, you know, just getting back on the podium. So anyway, thanks for everybody for coming, and let's have another good year.
Thank you, Ray. First meeting that I ever had as a manager, I came to see Ray speak. And I saw Ray get up here and we rolled the room and I thought, okay, that's how I'm gonna do it. And so Ray, you've helped me a great deal. Okay, you really have. I don't have the Ray-isms, but you know, we're writing them down for when he retires because it's gonna be funny. We talked a lot about 2020. 2021 has been an incredible year.
Yeah.
When we were putting together the budgets and the numbers for 2021, I looked at Melody and said, how are we ever going to top 2020? You know, they call it the best year for a reason. Okay, so we put in some numbers and they kicked them back to me and said, no, do better than that. I thought, okay, all right, I'm gonna have to do a little better than that. So we did. And, you know, we didn't know if they were gonna be unrealistic or not. And every month for the first 6 months of this year, we have outdone the numbers of 2020 between 100 and 200 million in written volume and contracts every single month. That's incredible, guys. Again, thanks for what you're doing. Even last month in June, now I know you guys got the numbers for, you know, signed contracts, and the numbers for the amount of signed contracts were down, but we were up 100 million in volume. Okay, that's incredible to me. And we're continuing on with this. I know we're a little light in inventory. And the one thing that I realized through the years as an agent, and it took many years because it takes a while to come back to you, sometimes, and a lot of the times, your best new business comes from your old business, all right? And I mean that through and through. It's still coming to me from people I forgot about. And, you know, and so we hand these things off. But the one thing you need to do now, do not take your foot off the gas pedal. Touch base with everybody that you've sold all these homes to. Keep in contact, because when it comes time, they're going to remember who the last realtor they spoke to is. Send the emails, do everything you have to do just to stay in contact with these people. You know, 6,500 people came out here and made their permanent addresses to Hamptons from Manhattan in 2020, okay? At some point, there's gonna be a trickle of people that begin to go back. I think they're here for a while. They put their kids in the schools, they're settled in. There's gonna be a couple people that are thinking, I bought this a year ago. Prices are up. Maybe I'm gonna flip it now. But they're gonna go to the first person they see. So stay in touch with everybody. It's gonna be a way to get our numbers up again, to get that inventory up again. It's important. So make sure you do that. Listen, this is one incredible group. I want to thank you. I am proud of you. And I got to tell you, there's no other place I'd rather be selling real estate, dealing with all of you. The Hamptons are an incredible place, an incredible market. We have an incredible team. It's a small team that we have really, really kept together here. You guys have stayed the course. The culture here is incredible. You know, I think other companies throw around the word family too much, but I truly believe that here. We are one big family. We stay the course. We've done an incredible job through this. This is a time and place, the last year and a half to 2 years, that we will never forget. How many of us have been through years and years, that year's gone, you just don't ever remember it. We will never forget this. This is stories we'll be telling to our kids, our grandchildren. This was an incredible run, okay? So everybody, thank you. Great meeting, and I look forward to what's to come. Thank you.